All right, hello everyone. Today, this is October 2nd. I don't know. I think it's October 2nd. And so this is still me doing videos and getting them done way before I'm actually getting them posted. Eventually, I'm going to take a break and just quit working on stuff until real time. Like, eventually, I'll get back to like actually filming the video the same week that I'm posting the video, but I'm just so far ahead right now. But yeah, I was wanting to work on the Willy Wonka project, and um, I didn't have all the things for that. So, I was wanting to do the candy cane tree, but I don't have something that I need for it. And then I wanted to work on Charlie and the Oompa Loompa, but I don't have the hair for the Oompa Loompa. So there's just, I just thought, okay, I can't get nothing done there. So let's go back to Dorothy's. So today we are going to make clothes for Uncle Henry and Annie M. I'm going to get both of these done in this one video. And poor little Annie M, she's looks like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre got after her. She's not got her legs, her head's come off. So I'm going to have to like completely, I guess her arms are okay, but I'm going to have to make her some legs. And then I want to make, a completely new dress. I'm just going to rip this one off. And I should have, well, I should have ripped that a little better to where I could actually reuse it down the road if I need to. Well, I kind of did. I don't think I'll ever need that, but it's ripped. Now that it's ripped, it's useless. Okay, so anyways, with that off and out of the way, here's what she looks like. I'm just going to use some wire to make her legs and then wrap those like the arms are done and just put her back together. And this fabric, I was just really loving this fabric for her dress, but it's the same fabric on the walls in Dorothy's bedroom. But I thought maybe I could actually just use the back side of it because it still has sort of a cool print, and it will, her dress was pretty light colored anyway, so I think that's actually going to make a nice dress, and just use the back side of it. Now for Uncle Henry, he's got gray pants and a gray vest, and then a sort of a shirt that's got like some plaid or some checks to it. Now the gray felt I'm going to use for the vest. This fabric here is supposed to be for the pants, but it's not really dark enough, so I can go back in later and maybe paint those like I've done some of the other stuff. And then this is a fabric that I thought would be good for the shirt, but it's actually, again, some of the fabric that I used on the walls in the kitchen, just like that was for Dorothy's room. And I thought that would be good, and it's a good scale. The squares are kind of, they look like plaid for that scale, but then I found this and I liked it better. So that's going to be the shirt fabric because that looks more like a plaid and it looks pretty good for the scale. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't know how much I'll show, uh, you know, of me putting these outfits together since we've kind of seen me do outfits before, but I just wanted to kind of show what I've got put together here. Um, so I'm going to work on those, and I don't think I'm going to do anything to her hair. I think her hair is actually really good for the character. I mean, it's the exact same style. I mean, their faces are pretty perfect. I might try to redo her eyes to look a little different, but I think overall they both really look like the characters. Um, and then I think there's a couple things in the house that we're going to work on too. So let me get these, let me make her and put their little clothes on, and then we'll see what we can do inside the house. All right, so I did come to a part where I decided I do need to show something because this type of doll body with these little wire arms and stuff, you may have one and you may have the same problem that I'm having. Now, their feet, uh, they're supposed to have part of it broke off, and there should have been a hole here. The ankle should have came up a little bit more, and it should have had a hole in it to where the wire could go through that hole. but that's been broke off on both of the angles. So what I'm going to do to fix that is I've give her some wire legs, and I'm going to cut a straw the same length of that wire. So there's how that looks. And then I can just stick that little ankle right up in that hole or up in that straw, and that's what's going to hold her little foot on there. But of course I'll glue that in place, and then I can wrap her legs just like her arms are done, and that'll, make them look a little bit nicer. But I'm going to hopefully try to find some flesh colored fabric over here in my stash to wrap her little legs in. But I just thought, uh, I've had her laying here forever, and I thought, how am I going to get her uh, foot glued back on there? And I just didn't like the idea of just trying to glue it on like this. But I thought the straw would actually give me something to, glue it to. And I just thought it looked really neat that way. And that is just so good. So I'm so excited that it worked. So I'm going to get that done, wrap them up, and then we'll dress them and see how they look. And there's how that looks. That looks pretty cool. All right, so here is Uncle Henry. I am not sure what's going on with his shirt right now. I mean, I don't have it done, but I think his look is kind of a serve. I think we should maybe just keep it like it is. But I used a pair of those pants and painted them black, which I tried to paint them gray, and it wasn't dark enough. And then I tried a blue, still wasn't dark enough. So I just went ahead and done them in black because I noticed in pictures they look really, really dark. So I did. It kind of turned out to be like a really dark gray because that other colors of paint hadn't really dried yet, so they blended. Now here's Annie M. She's I used a ribbon around her waist. I don't really like that. I like her little dress and stuff, but I don't love the apron. I don't like the color of the apron. I think it needs to be darker. And I've actually hot glued it on there, so I'm thinking I might just have to paint that too because I'm not going to be able to rip that off. But the dress looks pretty good. I don't really love the ribbon around her waist. I just want that and the apron to be darker to look like one piece. I may have to just paint the whole thing. Um, but she's looking pretty good, and once I get that painted, she'll be done. I just got to finish his little shirt and oh yeah, the vest, and then I think he'll be done. I might make him a hat. I haven't decided yet. He didn't wear it too much in the movie, so I'm not really worried about it. And I've got this awful mess here on my desk. But let me see. Somewhere's here. I need to clean this up because I'm going to lose my pieces. But I've got this little paintbrush started, which is literally a paintbrush. I just cut it off the end of, well, there's one sitting here somewheres. I definitely don't have this together. All right, so I cut it off this paintbrush. And I'm just going to make a smaller handle for it. So I've got that. And then I've took this little piece of wood and I've cut just a little piece of that off of here. And I'm going to super glue that little paintbrush piece on here. And then I'm going to kind of shape the end of this to look like a paintbrush handle for Uncle Henry because he was painting the fence, and I've got a pipe in the house, but it's glued to a shelf, and I just wanted him to have some kind of little prop that he could hold. So I'm working on that little paintbrush for him and maybe a can of paint. And then I've got something for her that I'll get together after I get the brush finished, but I just wanted to show that. All right, so I got the little paintbrush done, and that's how that looks. And it turned out really cute, and I might try to stain the handle just a little bit and maybe even put some white paint on there to make it look like he'd been painting the white picket fence. Now his other little prop, I'm going to use this bucket, but what I don't like about it is that big red handle. I'm going to take that off, and then I'm going to put some white paint in here to make it look like the paint bucket. This is actually going to be for Zeke, because he was feeding the pigs. But since I'm not going to make him the three farm hands, I'm not going to make those now. So I'm going to use this for Uncle Henry's paint bucket. So here in a little bit, I'm going to just put some white paint on that and take that red piece off the handle. But for Annie M's little prop, I've got this little pan that is really cute, and I'm going to make some crullers to put in that. So I'm going to use this clay that I've been using in so many videos, this same piece of clay. I just keep picking from it. And like I said, this is not air dry clay, so it's super soft, and it's been sitting here for months and months, and it's still not dried out at all. So that's good to have this on hand when I need something made out of clay. But I'm just going to roll out two pieces and make them into like little snakes of clay. But I'm going to get them super, super skinny. All right, and I figured out a good way to do that is I just took this little plastic picture frame and I'm just going to roll it. Back and forth. And then that starts to roll it out more even than what my hand will get it. Alright, so once I get it rolled out, I got two of those. And I'm just going to twist them together, I think. I hope this will work. Uh-oh. Alright, I'm going to try to twist them together. And I think crullers are twisted. So that's the look I'm trying to get. They don't have to look perfect, because I'm sure a pastry or whatever crullers are, I guess you'd call them a pastry. I'm sure they don't all look exactly the same. That don't really look too good right there in that one spot, but I'll make it work. Then I'm just gonna cut them into little pieces about how long I think they should be. And that's not anything too fancy, but that's gonna be my little crullers. And they don't have to look perfectly even, because if you're home making these, then they're not all, everyone's not all going to look the same. But I think that'll pass for it. I mean, if you look at what they look like in the movie, you can barely tell what they look like. But I looked up crullers just in general, just in like pictures, and they're just these little twisted pastry things. So I'm going to paint them a little different color because that kind of looks weird. But I'm going to kind of dry brush these once I bake them so they don't look quite so weird. But I'm just going to fill that up and bake these, and then I'll dry brush them with a little paint. And then that first one's way too small compared to how I'm cutting these others. But anyway, I'm going to get these baking, literally be baking my little baked crullers. I don't know if you bake a cruller or you deep fry them. I don't know how you do them, but anyways, I'm going to get these done. And then I think we're finished. I may do something in the house. There is something in the house I want to get done, because I've got the parts laid out here, and I'm scared that I'm going to lose part of it if I don't get it put together. So I'm going to do that real quick. All right, I'm actually going to show this up close before I do what I'm going to do to it, because a lot of times, a lot of people will age it with like paint and stuff to make it look like rust or like a fake rust. But what I'm going to actually do real quick is actually rust it. And to do that, I'm just going to, again, I don't want that red part on the handle, so I'm going to take that handle off. But to rust it, I'm going to soak it in a mixture of peroxide, vinegar, and salt. And usually you can get results within hours, and sometimes you have to let it sit overnight. Now, hopefully, this is a metal that will take, will react quickly. Sometimes I do that to safety pins, like I do a lot of primitive, crafty things where I need safety pins and I want my safety pins to be rusted, so I'll soak them in that mixture. But sometimes, if you don't get the right kind of metal, like if it's stainless steel or something, I don't think it'll work. But hopefully, this will react to that mixture. And so, anyways, I'm going to go try that and see what happens. Now, I don't necessarily want it to be completely rusted, but I just want to take that, that extreme shine down. So I'm going to go soak it for a little bit and just keep an eye on it to see what it's doing. But that's how I'm going to rust it. See if I could get it to looking like this pan. That would make me happy. But there's what the crullers look like, and they actually look pretty good. I've got those glued in there, and I put baby powder on that after I got them, right after I got them out of the oven. Now, what good that did, I don't know, but I was trying to make it look like powdered sugar, so it kind of stuck to it. I should have done it before I put them in there, but they look pretty good. I'm going to post a picture here later of the crullers in the movie so you can see what they look like. But anyway, I'm going to go soak this and see what I can get that to do. All right, so let's check out the bucket. Now, I've got that down in the mixture of peroxide, vinegar, and salt. And if you look at it, it is actually starting to take away that shine. I don't know how well you can tell that, but it's definitely reacting and doing something to it. So I'm going to let that soak a little bit, but I don't want to soak it too long because I'm not really trying to get it to rust. I just want to dull down that shininess of it. But I think that's going to work pretty good. Before I jump to that little part in the house, I just wanted to show how puffy his sleeve looks versus this one right here. All I did is I just took a little strip of fabric and I kind of folded his sleeve, and then I put a little strip around there to hold that down to look like a cuff. And that just brings it together and makes it look a lot nicer. So that's what I did to that. And it's just all them little details. And I painted some buttons on there, which I could maybe go a little bit darker. And then I cut out two little rectangles of fabric to put on his vest to look like pockets. Okay, so the little thing that I wanted to do in the house real quick was over on this wall, there's supposed to be a picture of a lady hanging here. And I've printed that exact picture off. Let me try to focus. All right, there we go. All right, so there's supposed to be this picture of her hanging here, and this is the exact picture from the movie. I just took a screenshot of that scene, and then I zoomed in and just printed that little picture off. And it's not a very good clear copy, but it's clear enough. And it's a little bit big. I mean, this wall is not as big as it should be, but it's, big enough for what I'm wanting to hang there. And I just happen to have this little pin. This is actually a pin that you like wear on your shirt, like a brooch. But anyways, I took the little pin back off of the back, and I'm going to take this bow off of it because it's going to make the perfect frame for the wall, and it just fits there perfectly. So I'm going to use this little pin, and I'm going to cut that picture to fit that frame and get that put on there. And that's just the one little thing that I was just wanting to show. And it's even got a little piece of plastic there, because this is actually a picture frame, but it's like a picture frame brooch, so it's serving the purpose of different things. But that's the original little picture that came in it. And so anyways, this one is way bigger, but you can just barely get her in the frame. So I'm going to show you. it's mainly gonna cut a lot of the picture off, but it's gonna get her in there. So I just thought that was kind of cool that that is the actual picture that hangs back here in that space. And the only thing that would be better is to actually shrink it down to where I can get the whole thing in there, more like, whoops, you know, instead of having it mostly just her face. It'd be cool if I just shrink it down to where I could get the whole thing in there, but I've done got it printed, and I'm, you know me, I'm just wanting to get it done. So I mean, it still looks okay even if it is just that part. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. All right, so here's what she looks like, and that actually looks really cute. So I'm going to put that in with a pin, with just one of these little stick pins. But there's a hole here, and the head of the needle goes all the way through. Like, it ain't going to stay on there. And I guess that's okay. You could just hang it on or take it off, but I kind of don't want it to come off. I want it to kind of stay on there. So to make the head of that needle bigger, I'm just going to use this little black sequin to put on there, and then poke it through to where it can't come off. And that don't really, that still looks okay with that black sequin there. It just kind of looks like part of the frame. And then I'm just going to stick it right into the wall. And it doesn't matter if it goes all the way through, because it's actually going to go into this wall back here. So it's not going to actually stick through back on the other side. It's actually going in up here into this wall. So there's what it looks like. And then I'll get a better look at that in the pictures that I show here at the end. I may actually put some glue on the back of that just so it doesn't, move. But that looks awesome. I'm so excited. Now, it's the little details like this that I get excited about, because once we start decorating the rooms, there's a little table that goes in the corner there, and then there's like a little plant that'll sit on a table here. So getting all that stuff done later on, it's going to be so exciting to see. But anyway, let me see what I need to do here and get it finished up, and see where we're at. All right, so I went to get my bucket out of that mixture, and it didn't really do a lot. It did actually age it up a little bit, and I like that because, again, I didn't want it completely rusty or anything, but it completely did something to the handle. I don't know what it was doing to the handle. It was like eating the handle, and like it made it really weak, and it just looks like it looks. I mean, as you can see, that wire went in there, and it bent up into the bucket, and then like the little pieces that were up in here, it's like they completely rotted away. It's like I don't know where they even went to. So I don't know what kind of metal this handle is, but that's the look that it's got now. And I'm gonna have to like replace that because it's just really weird. And it's a really weird type of wire. I don't even like it much anyway. It bends really easily. But the most bizarre thing is that little picture frame I put on the wall. It had this on the back. It had this little piece of metal on the back of that frame. And the weirdest thing is, check this out. This is going to fit perfect. It bends a little bit, so it's got these two little bent ends on it, and I can just put that right in those holes. And that is the most bizarre thing, that fits in there like that. And it's got a little tension to it because it don't want to bend, so it's pushing outward. So I mean, that is so weird that the original handle kind of got messed up from whatever that mixture was doing. But that was so weird because I took that off the back. I think I might have kind of showed that a second ago, where I was taking that off the back or fixing it on the back. And anyway, that was just so bizarre that just happens to fit this bucket, and that it just worked out this way. So that is so cool that I was able to reuse that little piece of wire again. And so anyways, that looks pretty good, and it still looks really shiny on screen on the video, but it does in real life look a little bit more dulled down. So that's just perfect. And then here's his little paintbrush. I don't think I'm actually going to put paint on this stuff. I'm just going to leave it as it is. It's like he's just bought it brand new and he's getting ready to put his paint in there and paint the fence. But I like it like it is. I just don't actually want to age it a whole lot, actually. All right, so here's what Annie M looks like. And I actually filmed this part and then I completely deleted it because I decided to go back and do more. I gave her a bow on the back of her apron, and I repainted her eyes and I repainted her hair, and I tried to sand her hair because I did like two different colors and I was trying to make the bottom color show through. And I don't know why I thought sanding would be a good idea because it kind of sanded it to her scalp. So I may need to lightly go over that again. But before, like the first time I filmed this, I didn't have that bow on her back, and it just looks so much better with it because she does have that tie in the back. And then let me try to stop it here where we can check out her little crullers. All right, so those turned out really cute. I'm going to try to focus on those. Yeah, that looks really cute. I'm going to post a picture of what hers looks like. It's really hard to tell what they look like. And normally a cruller is round like a donut, but in the movie sometimes, and if you Google images or like look up recipes, they are just little twisted things like this, and hers looked more longer like this here does. And I love how she holds the little pan. I mean, it's just like it's meant for her to hold that. But this is so cute. I like how she's turned out. And then let's bring in Uncle Henry. Let's get her down a minute. All right, so I said I wasn't going to put paint on his bucket, but there I did. I ended up putting paint on the bucket. And I put paint on the paintbrush, which I only done that like, I don't even know if I did it 10 minutes ago. I just hope it's dry enough to handle it. But all right, so there's what Uncle Henry looks like. He looks pretty good. I painted his eyes different, just a little different. I didn't do much to them. And I think I pretty much mentioned everything about him. Now, let's bring Dorothy in. Let me get them all up here together. There's Uncle Henry and Yum. And there's little Dorothy. So there's our little Kansas folk. And then where's Toto? Here comes Toto. So that's what they look like. I'm just so thrilled with these people. They're super cute, and I don't think there's anything else I was going to mention about them. The only thing I might do, I might need to put some buttons on the front of her dress like I did Dorothy's and Uncle Henry's. I liked how I painted those little buttons on, and she could maybe use a little detail there on the front. But anyway, I hope you all have enjoyed this episode, and just like and subscribe so you can keep up with this project and others that I am working on. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.